Okay, so for this cleaning project, we're going to be taking on the ceiling fan. So a couple of things I want to make sure you keep in mind about a ceiling fan is that you don't want to put any weight on it. So as you're cleaning the top of the blades and even the top of the motor, just make sure that you're not leaning on it, pulling down. Just make sure that you're nice and gentle. And as long as you're doing that, you should be okay. Also, another thing to keep in mind, all you're going to need for this is just like a wet rag, and I like to use an all-purpose cleaner if necessary. A lot of times you don't even need a cleaner at all. It's just a wet rag with water. So to take on this project, all you're going to do is you're going to need to obviously get up to the ceiling fan, and I like to start by cleaning the top of the motor here, and you're just using your rag to just reach up there and wipe off any dust. And then once you do that, we're going to pretend I made my way around here. Once you do that, you're going to come to the fan blades themselves, and you're going to wipe on the top of the blade. And then you need to make sure that you're actually, let me show you here, you want to make sure that you're actually wiping on the sides, the edges of the blade, because that's really where the dust collects. So I like to do that just by running the rag along all of the edges on each blade. And then I do go ahead and just wipe the underneath part too. There will be a little bit of dust that will collect there. So as long as you're doing it, you might as well do the whole thing. So now that whole fan blade is done, I tend to like to do the edges first. So I'll go around the whole fan blade. Then I will do the top. And just make sure you're getting all parts. And then I will do the underneath. And it really is that simple. If you have a little decorative element underneath, sometimes that will get dusty too. But you'll find that the more often your fans run, the dirtier that they get. So in a season where you know you're running them every day, I like to do this more often. But it's really a great thing to do every spring and fall just so that you can get all the dust off. So it's as easy as that. You wipe off the whole motor, you wipe off each fan blade, and then if you, again, you're up here anyway, you might as well just wipe down. I've got a light in the center of mine. Whatever you might have in the center of yours, it's a quick and easy task. It literally should take you maybe 5 minutes a fan. So it's a really easy job to do. Okay, for this cleaning task, we're taking on some upholstered furniture, which my couch is a really good example of. So I've already removed the cushions, okay? So that's how I like to do it. I like to start with removing the cushions and vacuuming the frame first, all of this stuff first, then I go back and I do the cushions after that, okay? So all you're gonna need for this project, this is the vacuum that I love. It's actually made by Hoover. I love this one. But the most important thing I think is that you have a crevice tool. You have a vacuum that has a crevice tool like this one, because this is what you need to get in all the cracks and crevices of upholstered furniture. So that's really the key, is that you've got this kind of a tool to work with to get in the corners. So once you've removed all the cushions, you're going to go ahead and just vacuum this section, which I'll do that real quick in a minute. So again, I vacuumed this whole thing, I vacuumed the sides, I vacuumed the back, and then I actually vacuumed the cushions. And then after that, I've already, by the way, I have already taken out all the treasures that I found in the couch, right? There's always treasures to be found. So I have already taken care of that step too. So once you vacuum the whole frame, get that all taken care of, then you can vacuum off the cushions. And then if you've got any stains, I find it's a great time to take care of any stains on the cushions, or really anywhere you have stains as well. So as long as you're going through the bother of taking it apart like this and actually vacuuming it, you might as well take care of the stains too. So we're gonna start with just vacuuming the frame. Now we're gonna just vacuum the cushions. And then it's just a matter of putting it all back together, sitting down and enjoying your amazing work. Okay, for this cleaning project, we're taking on the windows. So I like to do the outside of the windows all together on a decently warm day, which it's not today. So I'm not gonna take care of the outside of the windows, but I know that you know how to do that. I've given you step-by-step instructions that talk about that here in this post. But what I am gonna show you today is the most complicated part of taking care of your windows if you have a certain slider style of windows. This works for slider style windows. It also works for sliders that are the full door sliders. So I'm gonna show you how I take care of the windows on the inside of the house, and then the slider tracks. That's the most important part, and really the part that gets the grossest, the quickest. So I'm gonna show you how we do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with the slider tracks, the window tracks themselves. Then I'm gonna attack the trim and the window itself while my method, my secret to cleaning window tracks is doing its magic. And after the magic is done, we'll come back and finish up the window track part, okay? So we're gonna start with the window track. So I apologize also for the mess that is my backyard. We just built a house and it is a mess out there. But let's talk about these window tracks. So what you're gonna need first is the same vacuum that I just showed you for, well, we're using the same vacuum for many of the projects here in this post. So again, the crevice tool is gonna be your best friend for getting this stuff clean. So the process that we're gonna follow as laid out for you is we're gonna vacuum up all the loose stuff, then we're gonna do the magic part, then we're gonna come back and clean it up. So it really, getting clean window tracks really involves next to no work. It's really just a matter of letting the magic do its work, okay? So first I'm gonna vacuum up all this extra stuff. Now it's time for the magic because there's always a bunch of dirt and grime stuck in the corners. So here's the magic. You need baking soda, doesn't matter, any kind of baking soda, and vinegar. That's what I have in here, just regular white vinegar, okay? So what you're gonna do for the gunky, nasty mess that always happens in window tracks is you're just gonna take your baking soda and you're just gonna put it right here in the window tracks, wherever you notice some gunky stuff is gathered. Okay, so you're just gonna kind of sprinkle it in there. Baking soda and vinegar is like one of my favorite things ever. You can do so many different things with that. So I'm just kind of spreading that around wherever I see the gunk that collects, which is typically in the corners. Then I'm gonna come in here with my vinegar, and I'm gonna spray it right over top. And you'll notice that it's starting to bubble up. That is the magic. That bubbling action is going to be what replaces your need for scrubbing, because it's just gonna eat away all that stuff. Then we're gonna use this awesome tool. This is called a Scritch Scraper, and I've got a link, several links where you can purchase them. I cannot tell you how much I love this tool for everything, but it's gonna help us really get down there in these corners and really take care of all this mess. So while this window track magic is happening, I'm just gonna really quick complete the cleaning of the windows on the outside. And I like to take care of all of the inside trim. So I just give this all a really good wipe down, even right here inside. And you would do the same thing if you've actually got a window. I happen to have a slider for this, but if you had a window, you would do the exact same thing, where you're just kind of cleaning the inside and the trim here. So I'm just giving it all a good, really good wipe down. And really the fall is the perfect time to take care of this stuff. This is one of those projects that you really only have to do maybe once a quarter, once, maybe twice a year to keep it clean. So now I've taken care of all of the trim part. Now I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna take care of the actual window. Okay, so now we're gonna actually clean the window itself on the inside, and I'm just using a microfiber cloth. It's my favorite method of cleaning windows. But you can clean, using however you want. I know some people like newspaper, some people like some sort of window rag, some people like paper towel, whatever it is. This just happens to be what I like. But remember, the magic is still happening down there in the window track. So we're taking care of all of this indoors part while that is happening. So it's been probably about 5 to 10 minutes that my baking soda and vinegar have been in my window track there, taking care of all of that gunk. So now I'm done with all of the inside portion. We're gonna come back and attack the window track. So all you're gonna need for that is some paper towel. So that's how you're gonna come in here and just kind of soak up this vinegar and baking soda mess. I'll kind of save you the really gross part, but because it's been sitting there and working its magic, there is little to no scrubbing. Now I'm going to show you how to take care of the little bit of gunk that's left in the corners yet. That's what we're going to do next. So I'm just going to finish up cleaning up all this baking soda and vinegar, and then I'll show you how we take care of the corners. Okay, so here's where we're going to come in here and finish up our window track. You're going to use your Scridget scraper and just a wet rag, because all of the yucky part is mostly done. So I like to just use my Scridget scraper and put the rag right over top of it, and then I come into the corners, and the Scridget scraper is like magic. It just helps get all down in these last little corners that are left. And now you'll see how I've got an absolutely spick and span clean window track right down in there. There is no gunk, there is no grime. This method of no scrubbing and then just using the Scridget scraper to finish out, I like to use this end for this project. There's this end too, but this is the end I like to use for this project. By the time you have done this, it is just squeaky clean. And then your whole window is clean. Okay, for this cleaning project, we're taking on the refrigerator. So I want to say first, I've included with this video and in this post links for step-by-step cleaning of the refrigerator, because I actually use a really smart method to do this. But what I'm going to show you in this video here is just an overall summary of how I clean the refrigerator. But for the step-by-step instructions for the refrigerator, you're going to want to follow that link. But I'm going to show you the highlights here. Okay, so first of all, I want to apologize for my fridge. Not only is it a mess, we also lost power for almost 48 hours. So now it's really just a grimy, gross mess, which is a good time to clean it, right? So let me just show you the real quick and easy way that you can clean this. So every fridge, I've cleaned off one shelf already. So when you're ready to clean your fridge, you're gonna wanna empty out your whole refrigerator, okay? That's step one. And again, check the link for the exact step-by-step instructions. Now, I'm gonna be cleaning this shelf here and showing you how I use the awesome tools and methods that I use to clean my whole fridge just with this shelf here. So every refrigerator is different, but for me to clean this shelf right here, I'm actually gonna take this glass out and refer to that post, because that post will show you how I clean this super quick and easy. So for now in this video, I'm actually just gonna remove this, and we're gonna talk about how I clean the rest of the refrigerator. So all you're gonna need for this cleaning project is your rag, your Scridget scraper, which is a lifesaver when cleaning things like this too, and your all-purpose cleaner. And I also have a link for the all-purpose cleaner that I make using essential oils. Whatever all-purpose cleaner you wanna use is just fine. But that's what I'm using. So once you have all of the pieces and parts of your refrigerator removed, you're gonna wanna use your rag to just give everything a good wipe down. So for me, that is all surfaces of the refrigerator, because food and grime and slime, it just kind of congregates everywhere. So once I have all of my shelves and all of my drawers removed, as I laid out for you in the post about refrigerator cleaning, then you're just gonna be kind of left with the shell. So you're gonna come in here and wipe all of this stuff down. All right, and I have a little spray of the all-purpose cleaner right on my rag that I use to do that. But here is where the real magic starts to happen. So the real magic happens with your Scridget scraper, okay? So again, this is a tool that has this end and this end. And in this situation, I like to use this end right here. What this does for you is it lets you, I like to put it right in my rag. And again, I come in the corners and this allows me to get all of the mess out of the corners where it collects, right? Did you see how that just all came out of there, right? This tool is so amazing for getting in all the cracks and stuff that previously you might have had to have used a butter knife for or something like that. So like for instance, check out down here. Do you see all that yucky stuff right in there? It's like moldy, yucky, I don't even know what it is. I'm just gonna actually put a little spray of my cleaner in there. And mine is a totally safe cleaner. But do you see how, look at, I'm using the Scridget scraper with my rag and I'm just coming in here and look at how all of that is just getting taken care of because of this one tool. So this is the same method I follow to clean all of the shelves and all of the shell of my refrigerator. Once I get the shelves all taken out and the drawers all taken out, using the details that I give you in the post about the refrigerator, which you're gonna wanna check out. But the key thing here is to notice all you're gonna need for the shell is just a rag, your cleaner, and your Scridget scraper, and that's gonna help you get in all of these corners. And probably in 15 minutes or less, you're gonna have your entire refrigerator clean. Okay, so for this cleaning project, we're taking on your dryer vent, which is right in here. So you also have a dryer vent on the outside, which you're gonna wanna take care of. And I did mention that briefly, but again, just like the refrigerator, I have a link to step-by-step instructions for taking this project on fully. So again, for this cleaning project here in this video, I'm just gonna give you a summary of how to do this, okay? Another quick thing I wanted to mention is what you're gonna want is a tube from the inside of wrapping paper. That's what this is. Now, the cool thing about this particular tube is it's actually just a really thin paper, which I think if you get a higher quality wrapping paper, the tube is actually thicker, which makes this project a lot harder to do. So I would suggest picking up some wrapping paper from a couple of your local dollar stores, because I'm guessing that they're gonna have this more flexible and moldable center to them, which is what you need. So for this project, you're gonna need this tube, you're gonna need the same vacuum that we've been using for a lot of other projects, and you're gonna need some duct tape or some sort of tape that's just gonna fasten your your wrapping paper tube to the vacuum, okay? So again, the more flexible you can get this tube, the better. You can substitute with a paper towel tube, but the longer it is, kind of the easier it is, and the more flexible it is, the easier it is as well, okay? So to clean your dryer vent, you're gonna wanna pull out just the regular lint trap, right? And you're gonna wanna clean this off, but what we wanna clean is actually down in here. And this is what you wanna clean because otherwise you can end up with some dryer fires. So all you're gonna do is once you get your wrapping paper tube connected to the actual vacuum, you're just gonna come down in here and you're gonna start vacuuming up all that lint. So I'll show you that briefly, but because of the noise, I'm not gonna show you it fully. So you're just gonna wanna take your wrapping paper tube and come down in there and actually clean up that whole area. You're just gonna wanna kind of come down in here and move your wrapping paper tube around in here to get as much of that lint out as you can, okay? So I think you can see, based on having watched me do that for a minute, how important it is or how valuable it is to actually have a flexible tube. And I wish I would have taken a before and after, but if you were to look down in there now, you would not see any lint in there at all. And before I started, that was all filled with lint. And that's in addition to what my lint trap catches, right? The thing is this just doesn't catch it all. It just doesn't. So make sure that you refer to the link in the post and in this video about how to clean this area completely. But fall is the perfect time to make sure that you are taking care of this cleaning project, and here are the tools you're gonna need to do it. Okay, so for this cleaning task, we're taking on something that people often forget about, but it is the perfect cleaning task to get some fall cleaning done. And that is the bathroom vent or the bathroom fan. So if you have a fan that you turn on in your bathroom that helps suck moisture out when you're taking a shower, whether it is something you turn on or it's something that comes on automatically, that's the way that mine works. Because it is sucking air up in there, it often collects dust and dirt and grime. And so I find it's perfectly sufficient to clean this twice a year. So typically I will clean my bathroom vents in all my bathrooms every spring and every fall. So let me have you take a look at what my bathroom vent looks like. It's not horrible, but at the same time, it is dirty and dusty, and you can see how, you know, it's just nice to get that cleaned up, and now is the perfect time. It takes next to no time at all, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna actually clean the bathroom vent or the bathroom fan. Okay, so you're gonna take your same vacuum that we've been using for so many of these other fall tasks, and you're just gonna climb up here and you're gonna vacuum your vent. And actually most of it comes that way, most of it comes off that way, but then for the rest you're gonna use your scridget scraper, my favorite thing ever, put it inside your rag, and you're just gonna get the rest of it that's left, slat by slat, and your bathroom fan, your bathroom vent will be perfectly clean. Okay, for this cleaning project, we're taking on another situation that is it could be a health risk to you and your family if you have one. And that is smoke detectors. It is important to make sure that your smoke detectors are clean. And I learned this the hard way. I learned this because ours were dirty, and luckily they started malfunctioning, meaning they started, well, it wasn't so lucky at the time, but they started going off in the middle of the night. Like the sound that they make, it kept waking us up several nights in a row. Until we figured out there was something going on, and this is how we discovered and really started learning that they need to be cleaned. We never took the time to read the manual, we just didn't. And so take it from me, this is a fall cleaning project and really a spring cleaning project that you're gonna wanna do too. So my smoke detectors are hardwired to the ceiling, meaning I can't take them directly and completely down off the ceiling. But I can still do what needs to be done, which is clean them and then be able to put them back up. So here's the thing, with a smoke detector that is clean, meaning it's not dusty, it doesn't have any dirt up in it, it's going to be more likely to keep you safe from an actual emergency, as opposed to when they become dirty and they malfunction. Luckily for us, it was malfunctioning in a way that it was going off, as opposed to the fact that we had some sort of smoke or fire need and it was malfunctioning that way. So we did get lucky. So that's what prompts me to say this should be part of your fall cleaning tasks. So all you're gonna need for this cleaning task is the same vacuum and really the crevice tool that we have talked about, or that we have used for several cleaning projects, and also just your rag and your scridget scraper. So as with the fan, if yours are hardwired to the ceiling, as mine are, I want you to be really careful when you're actually cleaning these so that you're not pulling down on the wires. You can do what needs to be done with being gentle and cleaning around them using the vacuum and the rag and your scridget scraper without actually putting any tension on the wires, so that you can go ahead and just attach them back up to the ceiling. So I have already detached mine from the ceiling, so I'm just gonna start with the vacuuming and then the cleaning to show you how this is done, okay? So I'm gonna start with my vacuum, and I'm just gonna go up there and I'm gonna vacuum all surfaces of the smoke detector, meaning the underneath part as well as the part that's actually facing the ceiling. So I'm gonna get started with that. As simple as that. I've just vacuumed all surfaces of the smoke detector itself, including in the grooves, and I've just been really careful in doing that. Now, I'm gonna take my rag, my wet rag, and my scridget scraper, and I'm just gonna use that to gently, again, I'm gonna be careful of the wires because mine is hardwired, but I'm gonna gently clean in the cracks and crevices to just make sure that all the dirt and dust is out of there. And it's really not hard to do, and it should only take you a few minutes to do this from start to finish. But it can make such a huge difference in your safety and your family's safety. You just want to make sure this is all nice and clean. With our one that was malfunctioning, we didn't necessarily really see any dust and dirt, but we did some research online and found that that was probably what the issue was. And so we just followed the same procedure where we vacuumed it and then just wiped everything down, and then the problem stopped. And so ever since then, I have been doing this every fall and every spring to make sure that everything is nice and clean. And it gives me the peace of mind of knowing that my family, that I've done my part in making sure that these things are going to be functioning properly to keep my family safe. So that's all there is to it.